It is exactly 10 p.m. in the studios of UBC TV. Hello there and welcome to our second and final edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV. My name is Rukidi. We do apologize for that technical glitch there, but this is our second and final edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, and we are coming to you live online from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. We begin in the DRC, where the joint military force of UPDF and FARDC incursion into Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo dislodged and scattered the ADF rebels and captured 4 women in the jungles. Colonel James Castley, the 111 Brigade commander, said the camp used to accommodate more than 400 ADF rebels and their families. Haruna Mutesasira recently returned from the area and brought us this report.
Uganda People's Defense Forces used fighter jets and artillery to shell ADF bases in Virunga and Ituri Forest in North Kivu Province, Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The joint offensive operation managed to put out of action a number of ADF rebels, war materials captured, and 4 women rescued, including a 4-month-old baby. Nicknamed Barak, the 4-month-old baby lost both parents in line of fire. Been given a name Barak and adopted by one of the female UPDF officers. The 4 women we found at Sector 3 Command in Kalembo includes Kabira Mwandu, Kabo Makundi, Congolese nationals, Ashura Kasim from Burundi, and Afswa Sharon, a Kenyan.
Hawako wengi wenye silaha walikuwa walishatokea.
Ashura Kasim, her husband and 2 children had moved to Uganda after the war broke out in Burundi, not knowing they would end up in the hands of the ADF rebels.
Wakati tulifika Burundi, bwana wangu alikuwa na ndugu yake alikuwa anaishi Mkongo sehemu ya Goma kule.
Ashura Kasim recounts the day the UPDF attacked their camp but managed to survive.
Nimefika hapa wajeshi walienda kupiga walitukamata huko kwenyewe wakatuleta.
I was lured to join the ADF by my husband from Burundi with promises of a better life than in Burundi. She says, you can't escape from the ADF and live under strict laws with no other option.
111 Brigade Commander Colonel Kasule James says pursuit of the ADF rebels is ongoing.
Destroy ADF and other military groups, armed military groups. So far in my sector, Sector 1, the enemy is no more. We have destroyed the enemy, and the enemy has gone to areas of Muhenda, and of recent, because of finishing the ADF here in my sector, I've been handed more area of responsibility on the part of Sector 3 and my colleague, Colonel Magam.
Colonel Kasule, who is commanding the ground forces in the jungles of Mkakati Forest, says there is no breathing space for the ADF rebels. Hunger being experienced by the ADF rebels in the forests has forced many of them to surrender to the joint forces of UPDF and FRDC. Haruna Mutesasira, UBC News.
Thanks, Haruna, for that report there. Now, police will conduct an operation against Toyota Hiace vehicles that illegally transport passengers. The traffic police spokesperson, Farid Anampima, says persons netted using vehicles disguising as taxis will be prosecuted.
Uganda police has set a 2-day ultimatum for persons using Toyota Hiace, also known as drone, for transporting people without PSV license and public transport mark. This is part of the ongoing operation to restore sanity on the roads.
So we urge whoever wants to operate his drone as a PSV to go to the Ministry of Works and Transport, have your vehicle registered and licensed so that it starts operating as a PSV. Let's comply with the requirements.
Such vehicles are common along Entebbe and Jinja roads. Police will no longer fine culprits, but instead take them to court.
No EPS ticket will be issued to anyone operating as a PSV, yet you are not licensed to do so.
12,217 motorcycles have been impounded within 6 days of an operation against errant road users.
And out of these, a total number of 10,167 have been issued with EPS tickets. At the station, we have 2,050 pending. The operation continues.
Police says from 30th October to 12th November 2022, 100 deaths and 500 injuries have been recorded due to road accidents.
I've noted with concern that the highest contributor of these crashes is reckless driving. At least for the 2 weeks, it involves even reckless pedestrians. Most people have been hit on the roads because they don't know how to cross the roads. They don't know which side of the road they should be walking, so they've been hit by vehicles. Speeding has been part of the attributors to these crashes. Using handheld mobile, diverting people's attentions off the road.
In the overall, 1,021 riders and 401 passengers have died in road accidents in the period of 9 months, starting January 2022 to September 2022.
In road crashes, those riders died because of the head injuries. Your head is like an egg. If you hit it on that ground, you will not survive. So if you wear protective gear, we shall have you alive.
Police recommends that vehicles meant to transport learners after closure of schools to their homes will first be inspected. Ivan Kahwa and Abdul Nasir Lubwama, UBC News.
The State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, has urged surveyors in Eastern and Southern Africa to use their expertise of surveying and mapping to guide the continent's resources for sustainable development. He was meeting surveyors from 20 countries under their umbrella body of Regional Center for Mapping of Resources for Development. Our reporter, Philip Aguta, has the detailed story.
Surveyors in 20 countries of Eastern and Southern Africa under the umbrella body of Regional Center for Mapping of Resources for Development are meeting at Speak Resort Hotel Munyonyo in Kampala. The 2 weeks meet will strengthen the capacity and capabilities of surveying, mapping and management of countries' resources for sustainable development.
So the organization is owned by 20 countries, all the way from Sudan to South Africa. It was set up in 1975 through the OAU and ECA, mainly to support member states in Eastern and Southern Africa in mapping and managing their natural resources. So Uganda is one of the first members. So this week and next week, we are meeting in Kampala.
State Minister for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, told the surveyors to guide politicians on resource identification and mapping.
Expect them to guide the countries. Where do you technically find the hidden resources? You know, most of the resources of the countries are hidden underground. And surveying and mapping is going to help much in ensuring that those sources are identified and exploited.
The minister also urged the surveying experts to offer their knowledge to help the continent come up with their uniform policies on exploitation and management of their resources.
Mind you, these are the technical people. They are the people who can identify where the minerals are found, the ecosystem, and to ensure that they properly guide the ministers who are the policymakers to translate the technical knowledge into policies which can now be applied for sustainable development. You can't put in place any sustainable development unless you know the quantities and extent of the wealth which lie on the ground and to what extent.
The Director General of Regional Center for Mapping of Resources for Development, Emmanuel Nkuruziza, decried inadequate finances for the Nairobi-based secretariat.
The fields in which we can be able to deploy remote sensing are enormous. So we have to build the necessary capacity to support all the needs. We have also difficulties in member states because we're a member state organization. And whenever countries experience issues and economic hardships, they are transferred to the institution because part of the funding comes from member states.
Joshua Kagoro, Philip Aguta, UBC News.
The students from Ebola-prone districts of Mubende and Kasanda are set to depart on Wednesday in a phased manner. The Director of Basic and Secondary School Education, Ismail Mulindwa, confirmed that the exercise has already kicked off with first phase of students from locked down districts leaving. Take a watch.
It was agreed that learners who are coming within those two districts are free to go back home. The day scholars, of course, you don't need to make an arrangement. They just go back where they have been coming to attend school. But now our focus is on the borders. So the borders within that area are free to just move back home. After all, they are in the same area. But learners who are moving outside the two districts are the ones who are provided for. And we are saying, if some learners are screened and we find out that they have maybe some kind of symptoms, which I doubt, but if they have symptoms, then those ones are going to be retained. Now, those who are moving outside, first of all, they have to be screened so that they are sent back home when we are sure they don't have any symptoms. So the learners from Mubende, from Kasanda, have to be screened before they get onto the bus. But as a ministry and the Ministry of Health, we worked with our partners and specifically UNICEF to support us on transportation of these learners. So there are buses already, as I talk now, in Mubende and Kasanda, ready to pick these learners tomorrow so that they can be delivered at different stations where their parents are going to pick them. We have an arrangement where we are going to transport learners. We have offered transport to learners who are moving from these areas like Kampala. It could even be coming from Masaka or Jinja, from Kampala here, Kololo. In fact, today that's what we have done. Today, and we shall go back to Kololo on 25th, when again another cohort. 25th, that's when the schools are breaking off.
That was the Director, Basic and Secondary Education, Ismail Mulindwa, shedding more light on the transportation of learners from Ebola-hit districts of Mubende and Kasanda. And of course, they'll be leaving in a phased manner. Still on matters pertaining to education, UNEB has summoned the District Inspector of Schools to explain circumstances under which 23 out of 26 candidates failed to sit for the mathematics paper at St. Christine Primary School in Kakumiro District. It is alleged that the students arrived 1 hour and 16 minutes after the commencement of the exam. Jennifer Kalule is the UNEB Public Relations Officer.
They arrived 1 hour and 16 minutes after the examination had started. And in that case, they could not be allowed to read their paper. And according to UNEB regulations, any candidate who comes after 15 minutes from the start of the examination must not be allowed to sit the examination. So the scouts used their discretion and did not allow the candidates to read their paper. However, as a board, we have requested the DIS, the district officials, to give us a full account of what transpired so we can be able to assess what exactly transpired and ascertain the circumstances under which the candidates were not able to write their paper. We also plan to meet with the district officials to forge a way forward and also try to consult with the relevant authorities to establish the best way forward. Communication will be made as to what the final judgment will be regarding these candidates.
That was Jennifer Kalule, the Public Relations Officer, UNEB, ending that report. The Directorate of Industrial Training this Monday embarked on an occupation-based assessment for level 1 to 3. The Deputy Director in charge of assessment and certification, Dr. Michael Okumu, wants assessors to be ethical and trustworthy, as we hear in this story.
Over 13,000 candidates from 545 assessment centers countrywide are to undergo a competency-based assessment level 1 to 3. They are to be assessed in over 100 occupations, including electrical installation, bricklaying, motor vehicle mechanics, hairdressing, catering, among others. The Deputy Director in charge of assessment and certification at the Directorate of Industrial Training, Dr. Michael Okumu, says over 1,100 assessors, verifiers and coordinators have been deployed to evaluate the exercise. Okumu calls on them to be vigilant while exercising their due responsibilities.
Many times we have had assessors, not all, some assessors are reporting late. I know we have challenges of transport in some cases. Endeavor to report by 8 a.m. You must be at the center so that you are able to check the candidates and even checking the requirements for the assessment, the cutting list.
Dr. Kumo reminded institutions to observe health prevention guidelines.
But as we go, all of us, please take necessary precautions and follow the standard operating procedures for prevention, spread and prevention of Ebola, as well as even COVID, because COVID is still there.
11 schools, including Light College Bulenga, God Light Nakaseke, and 2 refugee camps of Ramwanja and Chaka in Kamwenge district are to be assessed.
As per the standards set by the Directorate of Industrial Training, you are the cream that have been identified to conduct this assessment of the studies of October 2022 in your various occupations. So we expect you to do some good work while you are there.
This is the biggest number of candidates to be assessed in that category since 2015. I'm Nafka Farida. I'm Ganga Henry.
Let's cross to Busoga region now, where leaders from Busoga sub-region have demanded for a comprehensive study of palm oil growing before adopting the venture as another avenue of fighting poverty. Now, this follows a recent sale of the idea to the president during commemoration for Bishop Huntington Day in Mayuge district. Some leaders say only Island and Lakeshore neighboring districts could fully embrace palm oil growing, citing favorable conditions. Henry Okrut reports.
On the day, Bishop James Huntington anniversary was held in Mayuge district. This was part of the communication by 3rd Deputy Prime Minister, Rukia Nakadama Isanga, concerned that poverty was still the biggest nightmare of Busoga. She suggested adoption of palm oil growing as opposed to sugarcane.
It will solve the problem of poverty, especially among the youth.
The president listened, but neither rejected nor bought the idea.
One of you write to me so that I have the file and I say, Nakadama Yankovera, nti ikemu yebinazi egenda kuwereza omunaku wange wabusoga milioni 2 awongenda kubawagirira ddala.
Few weeks after this commitment, some leaders in the region are up against the proposal. These are some of their reasons.
Let us have a study for palm oil. Let us zone Busoga so that Busoga, like Iganga, Bugweri, Namutumba, we can have industrial park.
Because there is going into something, then in the end, we get to face it like it happened with Moringa. Moringa was over-popularized, but finally, it didn't work out for most of our areas.
Not all districts in Busoga neighbor lake shores, except for Mayuge, Namahingo, Buyende and Jinja. These are the districts where they want the idea of palm oil growing made more popular.
Let us have one technical person to take Busoga through to know exactly where palm oil can be going to venture, and then which these other districts.
That you said they said something. I was saying something.
So this
she said they said something. I was saying something.
Before people
to test the microphone
into doing something else, which may not turn out to be profitable.
Busoga has been known for growing sugarcane.
They will ask definitely, but
that has not been economically rewarding. Also, the biting poverty in Busoga sub-region is partly blamed on political bickering.
You heard that at one time, the speaker, the current speaker, gave advice not to bring nyege until ideas were sorted out. But then the Right Honorable Kadaga also came out and said, no, nyege must take place. These are the bickerings which cause people to be disoriented, not to understand who to follow.
Palm oil growing is currently popular and widely spread in the island district of Kalangala. The venture was also recently sold and adopted in Buvuma, another island district in central Uganda. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The Ethiopian embassy in Uganda has awarded a select group of individuals for their self-motivated, genuine and Pan-Africanist guided stand and conviction to defend matters of the continent. According to the Ethiopian ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency Alemtsehe Meseret, the awardees showed invaluable solidarity during the difficult time of extreme pressure in her country.
The Ethiopian government has recognized Ugandan journalists, analysts, bloggers, influencers and citizens living in Uganda for their invaluable solidarity during time of need. This follows the recent signing of a peace agreement between the Tigrayan fighters and Ethiopian government.
We talk a lot about you. We have said in Amharic, I don't know English, you know?
Ethiopian ambassador to Uganda, Alemtsehe Meseret, appreciated the Friends of Ethiopia that played an active role in highlighting the challenges government was facing and underscored the importance of the African Union stand of African solutions for African problems. The Ugandan media practitioners who received awards included Dennis Sigowa, news reporter, Jagenda Semakula, a show host on UBC, Daniel Lutaya, and Kongo Adam.
From the beginning, I witnessed the international media only giving us one side of the story. So it was from that I asked myself, it's a responsibility of us journalists internationally to be balanced. And I have extensively written about Ethiopia.
Using the social media platforms and mainstream media, Sigowa, who was on ground, documented and published insightful news features on the effects of insecurity in the war-torn regions of Amhara and Afar in northeastern Ethiopia. Ethiopia criticized Western media for misinformation and biased reporting on the Tigrayan war with government that lasted from the 3rd of November 2020 to the 2nd of November 2022.
Even with the state-sanctioned media, right, such as BBC, their role is to continue British imperialism, not to inform, right? And so in that aspect, I don't expect anything different from, white supremacist media. They're going to tell the story that supports their efforts, not the truth. That's why it's important that we create our own. We don't need BBC. We don't need CNN. We don't need Fox News. We don't need any of these reports, these other news agencies to tell our story. We tell our own, and it will be the truth.
I'm here specifically in solidarity with the Ethiopian people and Africans in terms of wanting to ensure that specifically Ethiopia, but Africa, have the opportunity and should have the opportunity to set its own chart and destiny.
There's a semblance of normalcy after the Ethiopian government and the Tigrayan forces recently signed a peace agreement in South Africa.
It's coming to 26 minutes after 10 in the studios of UBC TV. We'll now take a short break and return with much more. Do stay with us.
So, I'm here to announce that the MTN Kampala Marathon is back. And this year, we are running for babies. To be clear, I am not talking about a baby. No. And neither am I talking about to be baby. I am talking about these small dollars.
Run for babies in the MTN Kampala Marathon on Sunday, 20th November 2022. Dial *165 *77 hash or use the Momo app to register.
We can't tolerate sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment is unacceptable in our school.
Because a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
That's right. The Voice is coming to a city near you. From the 21st of October to the 20th of November, you get a chance to showcase your talent. Prepare a 1-minute MP4 video of yourself singing and upload it to thevoice.africa to register. Make sure you have a valid Airtel number, and if you're shortlisted, you will be contacted to come in for the live auditions.
Well, don't just stand there, let's go!
Music your passion, Africa your stage. The Voice Africa, connected by Airtel. Welcome to Friends Stadium. Everybody's ready. Wait a second, not everybody. Come on, dude. It's the FIFA World Cup. You're going to lose your seat, the ritual seat, the lucky one. Losing more than a seat, your team is going to lose. Where are you, dude? The match is about to start. Your friends won't hold out much longer. Excuse me. Finally, everything is in the right place. Hey, other hand. And you, do you have everything you need to believe?
Meet Professor Petero. He knows something every hustler in UG is gonna love.
Oh, see. You see, I was just trying to get the documents to register for Airtel Money.
You don't need the documents. You just say to register. Yes, become a safer and more efficient cash-free business today. Easy.
Not mixing your business money with your Kameza money. No, that's efficient.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
The Ministry of Health informs the public that there are confirmed cases of Ebola in Uganda. We, however, urge the public not to panic as the situation is being managed. The Ministry of Health further reminds the public to be on the lookout for any persons who may show signs and symptoms of Ebola. These include high body temperature, abdominal pains, diarrhea, vomiting, bleeding from the body openings such as the nose, eyes, and mouth. Please inform the nearest health worker immediately if you see anyone with these signs and symptoms. To prevent Ebola from spreading further, please take the following preventive measures: regular washing of hands with water and soap, avoid handshaking and hugging, avoiding any contact with any suspected Ebola patients. Any person who dies suddenly should not be buried but reported to the nearest health worker or LC1 immediately. For further information, please call the Ministry of Health toll-free number on 0800-100-066 or send a free SMS to your report on 8500. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and World Health Organization.
Welcome back from that break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. A warm welcome to those of you just joining us. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. The first annual Real Estate Built Environment Conference on promoting affordable and environmentally friendly housing projects has opened in Kampala with a call to government to consider designing special incentives to the real estate sector. The two-day conference is organized by the Association of Real Estate Agents of Uganda in partnership with the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development.
The real estate sector in Uganda is regarded as one of the most capital-intensive businesses, which calls for more government support to flourish. This was noted by participants at a two-day first annual conference on affordable and environmentally sustainable housing projects organized by the Association of Real Estate Agents of Uganda, Area Uganda, in partnership with the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development.
For government to come up and help the private sector to increase on the housing stock, because we know that if it came like with some rebates, it came with incentives, and to make sure that at least housing can be affordable. We can also have like land banks, whereby government has its land that is at least reasonably priced, and it empowers the developers to come and develop more houses.
How we construct our built environment. So we thought to talk about environment, to talk about how to construct environmentally friendly buildings. That's why we thought net zero. How do we save energy? How do we conserve the environment? How do we conserve our natural resources?
Participants at the conference were optimistic about the outcome of this gathering, especially when it comes to the new environmentally sustainable housing scheme.
It is very important that we understand that green buildings help us to give a better quality of life, but also to preserve our environment in the society through reduction of emissions and pollution. And some of the things that we can do in that regard are planting more trees, but also use alternative power generation sources like solar.
The conference also features some exhibitions in the sector and has also been used for networking. Edward Colin Juko for UBC, Kampala.
The Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development through Pelham, Uganda, is piloting a program of mass legal documentation of customary land in Guru sub-county, Amuru district. The program is expected to reduce land-related disputes in the district, as we hear in this story.
Amuru local government and Pelham, Uganda are planning to survey and provide certificate of customary land ownership to over 1,000 households in Guru sub-county, Amuru district. The chairperson Amuru district, Michael Lacogne, says 90% of local community who visit his office report land-related issues.
Our community are now traumatized. They have been living in trauma and in a sense of seeing every person as a land grabber. So by certification, registration of land will really calm down the community and rehabilitate northern Uganda or Amuru local government. If all this is done within this sub-county and district, I know community will now think about development.
So far, Amuru district is engaging the community to understand the programs.
And if they allow us to get that certificate, there is going to be nothing like worry of receiving any project which is going to come in Ayala Parish.
A member of Guru Sub-County Land Committee, Vincent Ojiara, says giving the certificates of customary land to the local community in Amuru district will reduce the case backlog on their desk.
Because at the moment, there are a lot of land disputes. And we believe that when the certificate of land is given to the members of the community, it will settle these disputes.
According to Vincent, the sub-county land committee in the district spend most of their days in mediation meeting between the disputed family on land-related matters.
Help them also to think of development rather than thinking that I'm not going to make this development because I'm not sure of the land. So when you now have land title, the next thing is to plan for your development at your or in your land.
The program manager in charge of advocacy at Pelham, Uganda, Moses Onen, says the program will increase productivity and land use in Amoro district.
This district, it is marred with a lot of land conflicts that were violent, and it has led to death. It has led to low production because the land which has conflict, the people don't put it to use. So this certificate of customary ownership will help, one, in reducing the land conflicts because land that is registered has definite boundary. Two, it will reduce incidences of land sales because the situation where the youth would sell the land just without any further consideration will now be curtailed.
Amoro district top list of land-related disputes in Acholi sub-region. Stephen Okello, reporting for UBC TV in Amoro district.
From northern Uganda, let's cross to western Uganda, where orphans and vulnerable groups from Greater Kivale and neighboring districts are seeking help from government and donors to support them in their education career. The Roman Catholic and Anglican churches in Kivale want government to intervene and save the future of these vulnerable children.
More than 1,000 orphans and other disabled persons from the districts of Kagadi, Kibale, Kakumiro, Chenjojo, Masindi and the Roman Catholic Church and Anglican Church want government to support their education career. They thanked Bunyoro Needies Children Education Association for the initial support.
I thank this Bunyoro Parent Development Circle for being supporting me since I started my primary level. Now I have completed my primary 7. I request the government to help me to pay for me the remaining part of the school fees.
The chairperson, Bunyoro Needies Children Education Association, Stephen Rukai Jareke, says the association faces challenges in dealing with orphans.
From the poor families, from the people who cannot be able to facilitate them faithfully, they lack also school materials. So we would like also if the government or other donors could help us so that they can provide some scholastic materials so that we could be giving them and we move forward.
Irene Faith Nantongo, Andrew Musinguzi, UBC News.
Did you know that a cashless, secure, and convenient lifestyle is possible with Airtel Money Pay? Pay for your goods and services in the following simple steps. Dial *185 *9#. Enter the merchant ID. Enter the amount. Enter payment reference, for example, school items. Please enter PIN to confirm. You will receive a confirmation message for a successful transaction. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome to Friends Stadium. Everybody's ready. Wait a second, not everybody. Come on, dude. It's the FIFA World Cup. You're going to lose your seat, the ritual seat, the lucky one. Losing more than a seat, your team is going to lose. Where are you, dude? The match is about to start. Your friends won't hold out much longer. Excuse me. Finally, everything is in the right place. Hey, other hand. And you, do you have everything you need to believe? That's right. The Voice is coming to a city near you. From the 21st of October to the 20th of November, you get a chance to showcase your talent. Prepare a 1-minute MP4 video of yourself singing and upload it to thevoice.africa to register. Make sure you have a valid Airtel number, and if you're shortlisted, you will be contacted to come in for the live auditions.
Well, don't just stand there, let's go!
Music your passion, Africa your stage. The Voice Africa, connected by Airtel.
43-year-old Vicky Ngoroko is a resident of Godon in Napak district. She is one of the prominent farmers in Napak with gardens of maize, sweet potatoes, oranges among others.
We have this maize. Now, long time we didn't have these taplings and silos, but now we have it. We have even used it. We used it last year, and it has helped us. When you put maize there, it is just that you can even take 3 years.
Ngoroko has benefited from the World Food Program and Sasakawa Africa Association agriculture projects.
They trained us about this good maize and the one of which is aflatoxin. They have trained, post-harvest they have trained us. All the group they have trained, not me alone.
Ngoroko is not the only living testimony, as many others have benefited from similar projects.
The markets for seeds is better than the one for grain, because for seeds, its price begins from 3,000 up, and for grain, it begins from 1,200.
However, pesticides, lack of fertilizers are some of the major challenges that affect the farmers in Karamoja region.
There's some weed here which is very funny. Even if you spray with the selective herbicide, cannot to burn. So the most challenge here is weed.
Emmanuel Alepa, a coordinator from Sasakawa, is optimistic about the practice of boosting and sensitizing farmers in Karamoja.
We begin small and grow bigger. So these are farmers who have embraced actually the idea of the orange maize, iron-rich beans, and the orange flesh sweet potatoes. Basically, this is booming now. In fact, if you move around all these homesteads, at least everyone has a backyard of orange flesh sweet potato.
Alepa highlights solutions needed to curb on the challenges faced by farmers in the area.
What we do always is we identify these abnormalities in farmers' gardens. Then we report, because we are allowed to report to the sub-county, that is our host. These are the people who are supposed to be working closely with us, and they are working closely with us.
The Sasakawa Africa Association is in partnership with the World Food Program to change mindsets of people and curbing food scarcity in Karamoja region.
We have to learn about agronomic practice first. Secondly, financial literacy, how to use the money, and saving culture.
We are telling the rest of the community, the whole of Karamoja. We tell them about farming, what the World Food and Sasakawa has taught us to do, about planting rows in rows.
Sasakawa has spent over 20 years sensitizing people on different mechanisms of farming.
And we do sincerely apologize for the glitch in sound, but that story was about the drought that has hit Karamoja sub-region, and local communities are now seeking machinery and pesticides to improve farming activities in the region. And of course that follows an engagement between locals and members of Sasakawa Africa Association, an organization that's providing modern farming expertise in Uganda to sensitize farmers with farming mechanisms. Now we're going to take yet another short break and return with what's happening in the world of sport. Sports news now, and the curtains have fallen on the 2022 St. Mary's College Kisubi SMARC League. The final day at Legends Rugby Club in Kampala was not only impressive in the action, but also the aftermath, with musical performances that lit up the night. Here is our sports reporter John Bansentamo with details.
The 2022 Guinness-sponsored St. Mary's College Kisubi SMARC League has climaxed with action at Legends Rugby Club Lugogo.
I'm quite happy that the brand has been part of this league. You know, the league has continued to grow and has become even more than just football. It's now a social event. A lot of people come through on Sundays with their friends to enjoy, so we are glad to be part of that. As Guineas, we are fans of football. We love football. We promote football. But as well, the fact that football, the social element about football, because it's about people coming together and enjoying the sport, we are glad to be part of it. So, a great finale. It has been quite competitive. Congratulations to the winning team, well deserved. Continue to shine bright.
This SMAC League has been a contest between 20 teams drawn from particular years of study at one of Uganda's most prestigious institutions. Going into the final day, competition for the top spot was between Zulus, which is the class of 2009, and Block Owners, which draws its name from the year 2002. The Zulus were atop the standings with 40 points, while Block Owners sat second on 39. The Zulus outclassed Outcasts 5-2 on the final day to win the league by 1 point over Block Owners that also beat Devils 2-1.
First of all, it's hard to be champion of the SMAC League, so it is exciting, it is thrilling, it is hard work, yeah, but also we deserve to be here, yeah.
Yeah, as Team Zulus, this is really a very big achievement, especially for our sponsors. We've had so many people believe in us and they have supported us through this journey. Really, there's nothing better we could have given them apart from this trophy. It shows that, yeah, where resources are and hard work, really, nothing more that would give apart from this win.
There were awards for Best Female Fan, Olivia Narole, Best Adult Fan, Dr. Albert Richard Otete, Best Online Fan, Justin Niwamanya, Coach of the Season, Moses Kwagala, Top Scorer, Michael Kitaka, and Most Valuable Player, Stephen Dungu. The aftermath of the league was spiced by performances from Kenneth Mugabi and Azawi that left revelers yearning for more.
We've almost come to the end of this bulletin, but before we leave, let's have a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow with Daphne Kabasita and Samba, the Weather Center in Entebbe.
Thank you for this weather update. I'm Daphne Kabasita Samba from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Cloudy conditions with isolated showers were experienced in most parts of Uganda today, both in the morning and also in the afternoon. But this is because the rain belt is over our country. And tomorrow we're expecting to start the day with sunny intervals in this around central part of Uganda. But then areas around Lake Victoria we're expecting showers. Eastern Uganda we're expecting showers around Lake Victoria, but then in Soroti we're expecting sunny intervals in western part of the country and also sunny intervals in the northern part of Uganda. For the temperatures expected to rise to 29 degrees Celsius, that is in central part of the country with showers, 27 degrees Celsius around Kampala, around Lake Victoria, and then 26 degrees Celsius around Mobende. And then in the eastern part of the country, we're expecting still showers, apart from Tororo, where we're expecting 28 degrees Celsius, and then in Soroti, we're expecting 29 degrees Celsius. Western Uganda, we're expecting still showers, with temperatures rising to 29 degrees Celsius, apart from Kabale, where we're expecting 24 degrees Celsius. Northern Uganda, we're still expecting showers, with temperatures rising to 29 degrees Celsius. Going beyond Uganda, we're expecting showers in London and also in Nairobi. But then in Dubai and Cairo, we're expecting sunny conditions with temperatures rising to 32 degrees Celsius, that is in Nairobi. For more information, don't hesitate to dial *255 *85 hash for more information about that. Or if you're on Airtel, you can dial *201 hash for more information about that. Have a blessed evening.
This evening, thank you so much for having kept us company. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed night and catch you tomorrow.
That's right. right. The Voice is coming to a city near you. From the 21st of October to the 20th of November, you get a chance to showcase your talent. Prepare a 1-minute MP4 video of yourself singing and upload it to thevoice.africa to register. Make sure you have a valid Airtel number, and if you're shortlisted, you will be contacted to come in for the live auditions.
Well, don't just stand there, let's go!
Music your passion, Africa your stage. The Voice Africa, connected by Airtel.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello? Hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while.